Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Shadow of War on the GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. For FPS monitoring, I'll be using CAM. If you want to download the software, there's a link down in the description. And if you enjoyed the content and want to support the channel directly, there's Patreon and affiliate links down in the description as well. So, Shadow of War, I'll be doing 1080p, 900p and 720p. To skip none of those sections of the video, check the description below. So first I'll show you 1080p, trying to get over 50 frames per second, which in my opinion is smooth enough. And I'll achieve that by using pretty much a mix between medium and low, with ambient occlusion turned off, and the game runs pretty well, but when you're invading a fortress or something like that, the CPU usage goes up and the GPU usage sometimes drops to 75%, 85%, something like that, which stops us from being at 60 frames per second, but it's a very small hit to performance. That's why I show you a Ryzen 3 1200 after that. First, G4560 on 1080p, targeting both 60 and 30 frames per second, so I'll show you higher settings as well. And then on Ryzen 3 1200, I'll show you 1080p targeting 60 frames per second using the same settings. And then when I lowered the resolution to 900p, in order to get over 50 frames per second, I cranked up a couple settings. Since we have a lower resolution, the GPU has less trouble achieving the frame rate we want. So I cranked up a couple settings. After that, I just crank up the settings to the max, except for vegetation range, which I lowered from ultra to high in order to stay over 30 frames per second. And then I do the same for 720p. I first show you a 60 frames per second configuration, and then a 30 FPS config, which means I crank up the settings. And the Ryzen 3 1200 seems to be enough to maintain over 60 frames per second, even on the fortress battles with a lot of NPCs. So both CPUs do a pretty good job maintaining that frame rate. The main limitation here seems to be the GPU. This time around, the amount of options we have is very substantial. There are not that many options, but they affect the frame rate quite a bit. So first of all, if you want to get better performance, lower shadow quality from ultra to high, you can see at the right of the options what each option does. So for example, from high to ultra, we get double the resolution of the shadows plus more shadow distance. So you know what you're tweaking when you are in the options menu, which is good to have. All the explanations, the memory usage, all that kind of stuff. Then mesh quality can also make quite a difference in performance, but there's more pop in when you're moving fast through the map. The vegetation range, I recommend lowering that as well, which gives you a good improvement in performance. And finally, if you lower ambient occlusion, it can help you with the performance a little bit. There's also an option called large page mode, which in order to activate it, you need to run the game as an administrator, and you can enable that. Once you enable it in game, you have to restart your PC. And that overall gave me better performance on big battles. And one very cool option that I found in the display page from the options menu, you have the dynamic resolution option if you want to use it. What this does is you put the frame rate that you want to get to, and the game will dynamically change the resolution in order to maintain that frame rate. I tested it out and it works pretty well, but if for example you try on a 1050 Ti, I don't know, maybe ultra settings, and you get 30 frames per second but you want to get 60s, the dynamic resolution option at 60 will make you go as low as 720p. It's very noticeable. So I recommend using dynamic resolution if you are very close to your target, like 10 frames away, and want to get to that frame rate. Other than that, it's very noticeable when the game gets blurrier. So just test it out and see how it works for you. In all my videos, I didn't use the dynamic resolution option, excepting on my GTX 750 Ti video, but that's because that's a lower end card. Overall, I really like the options menu of this game. It explains everything to you, what each option does, and what part of your PC is affecting. So it's a pretty good options menu if you ask me. A lot of options, you can even turn off many of the heads-up display stuff. So yeah, kudos to the developers about the options menu. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you keep enjoying the video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Your pathetic assault stops right here, right now. How about I rub your nose in shock for a change, eh? You are safe, not me! I'm not impressed! Too strong for you! I want the success! You won't get out of my dream! Surprise! I'm here to slay you! They'll fight soon! You like it? Forward! Down quick as. Heal now! Take the ball! Your ground! Push him back! Me down, but I have a knack for building myself back up. Here, I'll show you. I dreamed of you again. I was flying, and suddenly you were there too. You told me that orcs can't fly, and I believed you. I began falling and falling. I feel as though I'm still falling. Maybe that'll stop when you're dead. It's all a dream! Die, Todd! This is over! Knock him down again! You're leaving this fort dead! I'm enjoying this. I dreamed of you again. We were seated at a fine table on the lake in Saragost, and you look like you do now. But you were the Dark Lord, which put a fear in me. Should I kneel? Should I try to kill you? But you just looked at me with those black eyes of yours. The way you're looking at me now. You were chasing me across Gorgoroth, but the faster I ran, the slower I went. You were a ghost, a wraith. I screamed your name, and my teeth tumbled from my mouth as I ran. How's your legs today? Well, they'll need to be strong to outrun me a second time. Not me! Attack! Cover your ears! You are safe, not me! Steady, lad! Want to seek shelter? You tried to shame me! Surprise! I'm here to slay you! faster! If you run out on me again, I may have to send one of my Gurkhas after you. Make good on your threats and kill the Tark! Don't let them come to the Are you laughing at Longtooth? Are you sniggering? Oh, no escaping this time. I'll get one of my boys to hunt you down. Longtooth wants your head on a stick. I am gonna bleed you slow and savor every second of it. No escape!